On Through the Lavender Lens, we review the films The Living End and The Laramie Project that was based on the murder of Matthew Shepard. We then remember and reflect on those who passed away from AIDS at last Sunday's AIDS Vigil at the Positive Living Centre. Up now is Q News.
Hi, welcome to Q Weekly. I'm Michael King with a very brief Q News this week. Federal Health Minister Tony Abbott indicated a shift in government thinking on HIV and hepatitis prevention in a television interview this week. In the end, just say no is probably a pretty good message, he said. Since the 1980s, all Australian governments have supported a harm minimisation approach to HIV prevention, encouraging safe sex and safe injecting practices, rather than adopting an American-style just say no. Up to 150 owners and managers of venues and businesses will meet with police and gay and lesbian community activists this week to discuss issues of safety in the Commercial Road district. The meeting follows several reported violent incidents in the area. The meeting will consider a draft plan called Safe Area for Everyone, or SAFE for short, which will involve cooperation between the venues and businesses, the Victoria Police, Stonington Council and the Anti-Violence Project. The SAFE plan proposes the creation of safe refuges, places for people to go when they feel the need for assistance or to help them feel safe, similar to the safety house system used in schools. It is also a proposal that threats and forms of threats be reported to the police on a regular basis. This weekend, of course, all the community voters for the Rainbow Awards being held tomorrow night, 2nd December, got together, myself included, and voted in 9 categories of awards that will be presented tomorrow night. It's live from Joy, or that is to say, it's on Joy 94.9 FM tomorrow night from 9 o'clock, where they'll be crossing live to the venue. Tune in for that. Meantime, you can contact us here at Bent TV at PO Box 6256 St Kilda Road Central 8008 or email benttv@bigpond.com. Don't forget to subscribe and help keep Bent TV on the air. Stay tuned for more Q Weekly and Bent TV.
Hello and welcome once again to Through the Lavender Lens here on Q Weekly. Nice to have your company. Alan Duncan here with special guest reviewer Andy Haler. How are you going?
I'm good, thank you.
Good stuff. Here for the first time. Andy's usually our hard-working editor here on the show. Many hours spent over a hot editing suite removing my fluff. So it's good to have him on board to talk about some more fabulous videos from Out Video. And now, what have you been having a look at?
Well, last week I've been looking at The Living End. It's a film about 2 gay guys. One is basically living on the street / street hustler. And the other one is someone who's just discovered that he's HIV positive. It doesn't centre around the fact of being positive. It's more about the questions about life and death and reality. It goes into a whole level deeper. As a matter of fact, the whole issue about being positive wasn't really the crux of the movie. It was basically stating the fact that in society we don't realise it, but the elements of messages of death are more in your face than you realise. There's scenes where You're watching the news and there's like death this and death that. There's car stickers with messages about death and whatnot. But anywho, as I was saying, it centres around two characters. Luke, who's a rent boy, who seemingly on the surface is a romantic drifter, so to speak, that lives day by day and doesn't really care about life or death. And then there's John, who discovers he's HIV positive, which for some reason he's always concerned about, where life is going to take him, and what is death like and what's it all about and everything.
Positive. Sorry. Now let me explain what this means. The test only verifies that you have the antibodies to the virus. And as you're probably aware, many people live perfectly healthy, normal lives for years and years. So by no means should you consider this a death sentence. And no doubt you've heard of so-called safe sex, which as a member of a high-risk group, you ought to be practicing anyway.
But eventually what happens is the two meet up. Because of death, so to speak. You just have to watch to see what I mean. And they end up going on a journey, literally and physically, across America, sort of discovering each other, how they actually sort of fall in love with each other. And yeah, it was really, I wouldn't say it pulled on your emotional heartstrings, nor was it confrontational, but it just left a message in your mind, and you just thought, I see where the director Greg Araki was going with this, but yeah, so it's just a lot of food for thought, I'd say.
You really want to go back to your I'm HIV positive and everything's normal hunky-dory life? Well, go fucking right ahead. Just don't forget to have sex in a plastic bag and don't plan anything too far in the future. Don't you get it? We're not like them. We don't have as much time. So we gotta grab life by the balls and go for it. You can piss it all away in that stupid job of yours until you wither away and they feed you the worms. I say fuck that shit, man.
It sounds deep. I mean, I noticed it got an R rating. Was that justified?
Definitely. I remember seeing this originally on SBS a few years ago, and that's where I found it, knew of it. Basically, there are sex scenes, so to speak, and there's a lot of killing involved in this film. So hence why it's always about death. Even the title, The Living End. So it's interesting, but it's not. When we think R rating, it's not in a bad R rating, so to speak.
So it's not full-on porn, but it's graphic in a way.
It is graphic, yes.
All right, sounds fascinating. So The Living End, directed by Greg Araki from Out Video, sounds certainly worth a look.
Yeah.
I had a look at a moving one this week too. It's called The Laramie Project, and it's actually about the murder of Matthew Shepard, in Laramie, Wyoming.
Yeah.
The lad who was bashed and then left on the fence to die. It's actually timely because it is 5 years last month that he died, October 12, 98.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I had a look at this film. It's slightly different. It's done. The premise of it is a theatre project, the Tectonic Theatre Project, went along to Laramie and actually interviewed the townspeople. This happened in real life, and the film is based on this, and the characters are based on the members of the theatre project. The interviews are transcripts of the real interviews, so they're transcripts of what actually happened. All the characters are, to all intents and purposes, real.
Yep.
It really does give a fantastic insight into the town's approach to this horrific event.
We're writing a play about Laramie and the Matthew Shepard incident.
It's over and done.
I understand your feeling.
We don't want any more of this. You're not wanted here.
People of Wyoming do not give a damn one way or the other if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're bisexual, trisexual, it doesn't matter. Really? That's what I just said. It doesn't matter.
Aaron McKinney and his friend Russell Henderson came from the poor side of town. This small city that bills itself as Wyoming's hometown is wrestling with its attitudes towards gay men. It's a tough business, as Matt Shepard knew, and as all his friends know, to be gay in cowboy country.
You have your own lifestyle, you should have your lifestyle.
It's pretty much live and let live.
Live and let live.
Matthew Shepard's the first gay person I ever saw.
And it's kind of unbelievable to me that I happen to be the person that found him. Because, like, the big question with my religion is, why did God want me to find him?
Now, as far as a victim, I know that that lifestyle is legal. But I will tell you one thing. I hope Matthew Shepard, as he was tied to that fence, that he had time to reflect on a moment when somebody had spoken the word of the Lord to him. And that before he slipped into a coma, he had a chance to reflect on his lifestyle.
It was very moving. I haven't been moved for quite a while. There was this 52-year-old guy talking about the town's homecoming parade, and the parade sort of snaked around the town and went around a couple of times.
Yep.
At the back of the parade, there was a handful of marchers marching on behalf of Matthew. By the time it came around the second time, there was maybe about 100 or 200 people had just come off from the crowd on the street and just joined for the sake of Matthew.
Oh, wow.
It was just beautiful. So, no, this is very timely. It's a great cast of unknowns. The only star as such was Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek. He played the barman, and, you know, it was quite a sweet character.
Was he
really.
having a thin day or a fat day when he was doing that?
Kind of a homely day.
Homely day.
Yeah, big boned day.
Yeah.
But he was a sweet character. He's actually saying, oh, what if, what could I have done to stop the crime? Nice. Directed by Moises Kaufman, who was involved with the Tectonic Theatre project and was indeed a character in the film. It's really worth a look. Quite a different take on a crime situation. And a timely reminder that there is still gay hate in the world 5 years on from the event. So get it out from that video. Thank you very much, my son, for coming in.
No problem.
And we will see you next time in Through the Lavender Lens and in Q Weekly, but keep watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We'd like to give you the opportunity to get $30 worth of free video rentals from Out Video just for helping keep Ben TV on air. Join us for a 12-month membership of just $30 and Out Video will give you your $30 back in free video rentals. Just be first through on 0438 052 769 or via email on q_weekly@yahoo.com.au. Leave a contact number or email address. If you're first through, we'll get back to you and forward your membership application form to you. As soon as we receive your completed form back here at Ben TV, we'll forward your Out Video voucher to you. Help support your community by supporting Ben TV and Out Video. Out Video are located at 13 Brighton Road, St Kilda, right opposite St Kilda Town Hall, or on the web at www.out.com.au.
Hi, I'm Vic Perri and I'm at the AIDS Memorial Candlelight Vigil 2003 here at Positive Living Centre, and I'm talking to the convener of the quilt, and Colin Chrysler. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Vic.
And how has today been?
Today was very successful. Another remembrance ceremony using the AIDS quilts as a backdrop, and so it went very well.
And it's, these days it's sort of a bit of an issue, isn't it, with trying to, I suppose, display all the panels at once. It's getting harder and harder, isn't it?
It's easy to do if you've got the money. To display all the panels of the Australian Memorial Quilt, we need a building such as Jeff Shed or the Royal Exhibition Building, which comes at quite a hefty cost. So we haven't been doing that for the last couple of years, and we've been doing smaller displays such as today. But we're hoping that in the near future we will be able to do a full Australian display once again. Having said that, there is going to be a full Australian display next year in Bendigo.
That's fantastic. So, in terms of how this actual Candlelight Vigil has been going each year, is it still well attended as it used to be?
Oh no, the numbers have dropped. I mean, in its heyday, there would be what seemed to be tens of thousands of people crowding the city square and the city streets. But now it's down to a couple of hundred people turning up. So it has changed dramatically.
And what do you have sort of vision for the future? What do you plan? to have how you would sort of actually do this sort of day in future?
All right, in the future, besides having the small remembrance ceremony like we're having today, you will hopefully within the next 12 months be able to view the entire Australian quilt on the internet. We're currently scanning the entire quilt, all of the photographs of the entire quilt, so they can be prepared for our new website, and we're giving that a 12-month timeline to happen.
So they'll be obviously much more accessible then?
It'll be accessible by anybody at any time at no cost, and they'll be able to view every individual panel on the Australian quilt in the comfort of their own office chair at home.
Okay, well thanks very much, Colin.
Pleasure.
Now I'm talking to Graham Stephen. Now, Graham, what role do you play in all of this?
In what? In World AIDS Day?
You know why you're here?
World AIDS Day, World AIDS Awareness Week, World AIDS Awareness Month, all year. I work for the Victorian AIDS Council, and I handle all the red ribbons, the PR, the fundraising, in fact, the whole of the state for World AIDS Day kind of stuff. So all year round, we have red ribbons. Now, I'm a bit exhausted because it has been a pretty full-on week. It wasn't just the weekend, let me tell you right now, Vic. It's been the week, the month. But guys, quite seriously, if you want to do stuff all year round, red ribbons, you can. And I always keep some in my top pocket or my back pocket, depending what I'm wearing, and get $2 or a donation, sometimes $5 for a ribbon. That goes to the David Williams Fund, which buys food vouchers for people in poverty, long-term HIVs on Social Security and so forth. But you don't have to just do it. You can wear one of these all year round, have the branding. I mean, it's better than McDonald's. I mean, you know, have one on your car, have one on your dog, give one to your mum, give one to a Christian who doesn't cope really well. Anyway, issue being red ribbons all year round. It's been a wild week, a wild month as usual.
How much have you raised so far?
Can't tell you because we haven't added it up yet, and it's still coming in. But we've had about 400 collectors out there on the streets, in the venues. The venues have just been spectacular. Everyone's done a fundraising gig, and we're stuffed. So, red ribbons all year round, plastic bag. You can become a dealer too for the David Williams Fund.
Fantastic. Thanks, Graham.
Today we have 2 new panels being added to the Australian quilt. The first one is for Gary Everett and is made by Gary's partner, Stephen Morris. The second is for David Sheminant, made by his friend Peter van Miltenberg.
I still can recall some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all.
Okay, I'm talking to David Rogers-Smith, and David, was a beautiful bit of singing there.
Thank you very much, Vic.
And you do this, you've been doing this a few years now?
This is my second. I did the big Nessun Dorma last year, and yes, it's a tough gig, I tell you. Trying to not take in this amazing memorial, because it always makes me tear up, and you can't cry and sing at the same time. It's an amazing event.
And there was already sort of so much emotion in the audience. You've got to get it right, don't you?
Absolutely. Look, just with the presentations of the new panels, it's so tough. But it's, I don't know, it's an extraordinary testament, isn't it? This.
And what does something like today mean to you personally?
Well, I have, like so many of my friends, had a few people pass away from HIV/AIDS, and you can probably see me advertising here. I will do quite a bit of work for Showbiz Cares Equity Fights AIDS, which is my sort of pet project, just raising money. And we're in the Positive Living Centre now. The last concert we just did raised money for food vouchers for the Positive Living Centre. So, those people who can't afford to eat because of their expensive meds can afford to eat because we, donate a couple of grand's worth of food to them, which is, makes me feel
fantastic.
Yeah, it makes me feel really good. But when you think it's 42 million people infected, the estimated figures at the end of last year, it's a huge problem. I want to fix Africa next, so if anybody wants to help.
It's a big job. So you'll be singing in front of millions of people over there?
Oh, well, who knows? Who knows? If you can arrange it, I'll do it.
Okay, I'll try. Anyway, thanks very much, David.
Thank you very much, Vic. Thanks.
And here I am talking to Nan McGregor. How are you, Nan?
I'm well, Vic, thank you. Very well indeed.
And what does today mean to you?
Oh, it's a very poignant time. It's a time to remember the lives that have been lost to this horrible, rotten virus. It's a time to pause and reflect on the potential that's been lost, the wonderful human potential that's been lost through this virus.
And through your association with PFLAG, is there many or any members of PFLAG or associates that have been affected by HIV/AIDS?
Fortunately not. I have been affected through the loss of a couple of good friends, one as recently as July this year, and I mourn him. And I think it's time, it's a wonderfully solemn occasion. I'm one of the fortunate ones. My son was not positive. It's passed him by, but I guess in his prior to him settling down and in his single days, it was the spectre of AIDS lived with me all the time. I would never have said it to him, and he'll probably kill me for saying it publicly. But I guess most of us who are mothers of gay sons do have that fear. I remember the night he came out. I said to him, I'm frightened of AIDS. And he said, I'm responsible, I'm not promiscuous, I know how to look after myself. But being a mother, and a very worrying mother, I worry for everybody, I guess the spectre of it lived with me. And I was recently part of a panel with the African Archbishop of Cape Town, and I realised how little I knew when I heard speakers, particularly a lady from Papua New Guinea. And the decimation of the population in Papua New Guinea is absolutely dreadful. And Africa is bad, and then they've got the bloody Vatican coming out and saying condoms are no prevention. And
it doesn't make sense, does it?
It does not make sense at all. But
it's good to be here at a day like today and just really purely simply to remember our friends that have passed away.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks very much, Nan. Okay, I'm Vic Perri. I'm at the AIDS Memorial Candlelight Vigil 2003. We'll see you next time.
What do you think of Q Weekly? Is there anything you'd like to see on the show? Please drop us a line with any feedback to q_weekly@yahoo.com.au.